Hello, and as always, thank you guys for tuning in to the Adventures of D-Webb Enterprises LLC. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2022, and on today's video, I'm going to explain to you guys my best opinion on how to get your seats into a better position in a stadium if you already have the season passes to that stadium. Now, this may vary from state to state and from sport to sport, but I would assume the same general rule is going to apply to every sport, every venue, as long as they have a big enough following that they sell out. Now, of course, this is a simpler route, but if you're following a team that doesn't have a huge following and there's a lot of empty seats in the stadium every time, you probably can just contact them in the off season of whatever sport it is and tell them that you want an upgrade, and or when you renew your season tickets every year, you might just get the option to pick your seats if there's not a big enough following, if you don't want your same seats that you continually have, because 99% of the time that people have season passes, they're going to get the same seat every year. That's just how it usually works unless you ask to be changed. So that's basically what I'm going to say is my best opinion on how to get better seats is you basically just have to have the season passes and then get the contact information, whether it's through the customer support or if they actually have like a button that you can click for relocate and then you send them an email through that. But that would be my own personal opinion on the best way to do it with being cheap. It might not be the fastest, but it's definitely going to be the cheapest in my opinion, because from my own general information, as far as I know, they won't charge you for seat relocation unless you go from like a bad seat to premium seat where there's a huge price difference in whatever the sign up fees are. So as long as you're not doing something such as that, you should be fine to relocate at minimal cost, if any. So on that note, please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. I obviously don't get a bunch of followers or a bunch of views, so it's not like any of my videos are sponsored. I just state my own opinions from personal life experience, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I can definitely be wrong, and that's why I'm saying please like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments, and tell me your own personal experiences, and or tell me things that I'm doing wrong or right, because I'm definitely here to perfect what I'm doing. I'm not perfect, and I never probably will be, but I can always do things better than how I am. And sometimes somebody just watching my video might be able to give me that little bit of info that I needed. So, again, I really appreciate the people who are leaving comments. My video on the Tasker app was probably one of my most viewed so far, and I've had some comments, and it really made me feel like people were interested in what I was saying, and it does mean a lot, and I do appreciate it, even though again, I don't expect to become a celebrity over here on YouTube, but it was just cool to know that I'm helping people. But again, so once you have your seats, for example, just to give you a little background information about me, I currently have Steelers season tickets up here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I live, and they're at Heinz Field, and I get all the 10 season home games, even though two of them to one of them sometimes are preseason, but I get all 10 games. And then same concept out in Las Vegas, Nevada, with the Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. I get all 10 of their home games, whether it's 9 home regular season, 1 preseason, or 8 and then 2 preseason. So whatever it goes, I get all the home games to those stadiums. So I want to get tickets all over the place, but with those two stadiums specifically, I want to get better seats. Now, of course, at the Steelers, what I'm trying to say is I have worse seats, so to say, than at the Raiders Stadium. But both of them, I would love to have better seats. There's never anything wrong with getting more close to the 50-yard line or getting a little closer to the field, so, or even get just the suite level if you prefer that. But basically, there's always reasons that someone wants to improve their seats. So for mine, it's more or less just to be able to sell my tickets for more, but this applies still for even just fans who want better seats when they're at the stadium. So for example, with the Steelers seats, yeah, I can make a little bit of profit selling the nosebleed seats to buddies because I live here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I have friends that buy the tickets, and I also list them on SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, StubHub, and Ticketmaster. So I recommend people to purchase off any of those websites. I've never had issues with them. I have been at games before and told people that I sell tickets on those websites, and they've like told me horror stories of like getting fake tickets, but I've never personally ran into any experience like that on Ticketmaster selling or buying tickets on not just Ticketmaster but any of those 4 websites I said, and I know there's tons of more other third-party websites that are just as fine, but in my own opinion, those are the 4 that I use, and I managed to sell all my tickets throughout just using those 4, so I'm content with that. But if I were to talk to somebody and they absolutely would only use a different website than those 4, I would still be willing to sell on those. So again, anybody who ever does want, I know the season, as I just said, it's Monday, February 7th, 2022. So the Super Bowl coming up with the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, hosted in Las Vegas at SoFi Stadium, is this coming up Sunday. So again, so this season's coming to an end, so I won't have tickets for a while to the football events. But what I was going to say is, please feel free to branch out. I'd more than happily sell tickets to anybody who's interested. As soon as the season comes out in early May, I should have the tickets available. And to get back on to the content though, one thing I want to say is none of my videos are obviously sponsored, but I do recommend for anybody who does not have season passes already and just wants to get season passes either in their home city, which is the easiest to do, or a city that they don't happen to live in. I recommend at least checking out the website pslsourcellc.com, and basically they're a website. They're based out of North Carolina. I don't know the exact address, but I know that's the general area they're from. And I think it's even more specific in Charlotte, North Carolina, but don't quote me on that. Again, leave in the comments if someone's used their website, what they thought. I've used it before to purchase tickets, and I thought it was a good website. Not just to purchase individual game tickets, but what you use this website for is to buy PSLs, which is personal seat license. There's a few different abbreviations for it, so a few different names. But basically what it is in these newer NFL stadiums, and I'm sure they'll start doing this with all the leagues if they're popular enough, the fan base in that team, in that city, but basically the new NFL stadiums they're building are just so expensive that the whole cost doesn't, so to say, want to go on to the owner or the city or the taxpayers. So those 3 portions of income, sorry, I'm wording it kind of funny. So those 3 people that I just stated, even though they're more than just individuals, the owner of the team, the taxpayers of the city, and then also just the city itself, not any one of those 3 groups want to have to pay for the whole stadium. So what they'll do is, of course, all 3 of those groups will put up a portion of the money, but they also will put out sales for PSLs, which is basically telling people you pay an X amount of dollars for this seat, and then for the next 30 years you will get the rights to the season passes. Even though you still have to renew them every year, you're just basically helping them out so that they make sure that you always have these seats. And it only works with very few handful of teams that have the following that can withstand that kind of cost from a fan base. But if you look on PSL Source, they have at least half of the different NFL teams available on there. And one other thing you might run into if you're trying to buy tickets to a city that you're not living in is the fact that if you don't live in the state or general greater area of the city, that you will not be allowed to purchase them because they predict that you're just going to be a ticket seller. So it's not illegal to sell tickets, but that's just one of the obstacles you have to get. For example, I know the Tennessee Titans are one of those teams because they're a very big tourist destination spot, and they just, for some reason, the city decided that to be able to purchase the PSL rights, you have to live somewhere in the greater region of Nashville, Tennessee. So different cities will have different rules such as that. You just have to look into it. Again, it doesn't hurt anybody who's either interested in trying to sell tickets, or especially if you live in the city and just want tickets for you and your family, you'll definitely not run into that issue. But it doesn't hurt to check out the website. Again, that's pslsourcellc.com. And I just, again, leave in the comments. Hopefully no one's had nightmare situations with them. I think they're a pretty legitimate company. I've used them to purchase my Steeler tickets. And again, just getting back to the point is, that way, if you purchase through PSL Source, you know exactly where your seats are going to be, and you know exactly basically what seats you're getting, so you can pay premium price to make sure you're down near the 50-yard line in the front row. But again, if it's available, and you might be paying a crap ton of money compared to just buying up high and working your way down over a 5-10 year period, you might not get the front row, but you can get a lot closer and for free just by moving your seats down season by season. Now, again, some people will do that and then get into a situation where they're sitting next to people they enjoy sitting by, so then they're content and just leave it there and stay there. But that's also another alternative you'd never get with just buying the PSL, because 1, you're paying top dollar, and 2, you're just already going to be there, so hopefully the people around you enjoy. But if you're slowly working your way down, you can always say, oh wow, I like this spot, I'm going to stay here. And the only other thing with working your way down is, for example, if you get the option to relocate and you decide to do it and you still want to keep moving closer, but you just figured it was smart to at least get down to wherever they offered, you just have to refill out the relocations thing again. It's not the end of the world. It probably takes about 10-15 minutes, but you just fill that out, send it back in, and you're fine. You're just back on the wait list. So to me, it's just an alternative for someone who's younger and already has season passes and just isn't in a rush whether they go to the games or resell the tickets for a value or for profit. I think it's just the smartest economical way to get your seats lowered to a better spot in the stadium. So again, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the support. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. This was the Adventures of D-Webb Enterprises, LLC.